So you want to know if there's a ghost in your home? Well, you've come to the right place, because as most of you know, I've done quite a few haunted videos in the past, and I've been asked hundreds of questions about ghosts, spirits, hauntings, and all that stuff. But there's one question that I often find myself hearing. That question is, Sherman, how do I know if I'm being haunted by a ghost? And since I can't go through and answer each and every question individually, I've decided I'm gonna make this video about 10 signs that there's a ghost in your home. Now, some of these signs you may have heard before, and some of them might be completely new to you, and you're probably gonna hear me say it and you're gonna say, oh my God, I'm being haunted. No doubt there's a ghost in my house. But make sure you listen to each and every sign before you make that final conclusion that there's a ghost in your house. Everything has to work hand in hand together. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, takes like 1 second. And with that being said, let's begin. Sign number 1, dark spots in your home. So I'm starting out with this one because it's very rare, but it's also such a strong indicator of something non-human in your home. The reason I say that is because if you've been living in your home for just a year, you kind of memorized how everything looks in the house, how the living room looks at night, how the living room looks in the winter, in the summer, when it's raining, in the early morning, right when the sun's coming up. You know exactly how everything looks. You've seen it 365 days minimum. So once you see a slight difference, you tend to notice that right away, and for a lot of people, it's a very rare thing, but it's very possible. Now, I'm gonna give you a scenario where you can actually imagine and see for yourself if this has happened to you, or look out for it in the future. So you wake up one morning, you're home alone, and you walk out of your room, straight to the living room, you kind of look in there and you see that it looks darker. Not completely dark like it's nighttime, but almost like a big shadow is casting over one area of the living room. The house is super quiet where you can almost hear like a ringing in your ear. It just feels really off. It's not only going to be dark, you are also going to feel very weird in that moment. That right there is one of the most serious indications that there's something spiritual in your house. So let's look at some of the other signs to see if they apply to you. Sign number 2, you smell wet pavement or perfume in your home. So yeah, this one is super weird, but also pretty specific. So it makes it easy for you to distinguish whether it's a coincidence or actually a ghost. So any weird smell in your house, this could be the smell of rotting meat, cigars, perfume, cologne. But the very weird one that's actually happened in a lot of cases, the smell of wet concrete, wet cement, wet pavement, like rain on the street. So yeah, it's really weird. I haven't read any explanations on it, but I know there's been multiple cases where people have said, I smell wet cement or wet rain when it's completely dry outside. And it turns out that way more stuff happened in their house after that. Now, if you smell perfume or cologne, that is also a really strong indicator that there's something in your house. But you need to do 2 things as soon as you smell something unfamiliar. First thing you need to do, ask yourself, has anybody been to your house in the last 4 or 5 hours max? That's even pushing it. If they have been to your house, ask yourself, is this the cologne or perfume that they were wearing? The second thing you need to do is go to where you keep your perfumes or your colognes, smell them, mix them together, like see if you can make that scent. Maybe 2 of them were sprayed at the same time and made a certain scent. I don't know. You gotta make sure that there are no other possible explanations, no coincidences, nothing. It has to be purely no explanation, or it will not work as a sign. Let's move on to number 3. Sign number 3, areas in your home are colder or hotter than others. Now, this one's self-explanatory. If you walk into a room and it's colder or hotter than another part of your house, that could be an indicator that there's a ghost in your home. Now, this doesn't mean that your room has to be so cold that you literally see your own breath, or so hot that like you walk in there and just melt like a sauna. But you'll notice either colder or hotter. You will notice because it's not just the temperature, there will be something in that room with you. As soon as you walk in, you'll feel a chill, or you'll kind of like get tunnel vision for a second. You'll feel it. If you feel heat, check to see that your PC isn't on, your laptop, your TV. If your bed is not made, like if your bed sheets are all clumped up, it will make your room hotter. If you have a pile of clothes or stuffed animals, it will make your room hotter. The more fabric in your room, the hotter your room will be. Now, alongside that, the more clean your room is, the more empty the room is, the more cold your room will be. If your bed sheets are flat on your bed, you have no pile of clothes, none of your electronics are on, your room will naturally be colder. Some people tend to forget that, and they're just like, oh my gosh, my room's stuffy. there's a ghost in here. It doesn't work like that. You will notice it. Let's move on to number 5. Sign number 5, you wake up at the devil's hour. So I've covered this in a recent video, so I'm gonna make it quick. If you wake up at the devil's hour, that is 100% something you should look into. Some people think the devil's hour is between 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock a.m. Some people think it is exactly at 3:33 a.m. If you ask me, I'm a very firm believer in coincidences. So if I wake up from 3 to 4, I don't care. That's not something I'm gonna look into. But if I wake up at exactly 3:33, that's where I'm gonna start getting worried. Now, waking up at exactly 3:33 is terrifying, especially when you know about it. But if you really wanna know, you have to ask yourself, why did I just wake up? What was the reason? Did you wake up because you got a notification on your phone, or you had to pee, or you've been tossing and turning all night and you've been waking up every hour and you just so happened to wake up at 3:33? Then that wouldn't matter. But if you woke up at 3:33 because of any of these reasons that I'm about to give you, you're in the midst of a haunting. Number 1, you had a dream that you were falling, and right when you hit the ground, you woke up and saw that it was 3:33. Number 2, you heard a noise, like a knock or a creak, and it woke you up, whether it was in your head or in real life, at exactly 3:33. And number 3, you get a notification on your phone, but when you checked it, it was weird, like a missed call from a private number, or you got a DM on Instagram from somebody with 0 followers, 0 following, and 0 posted photos. Or maybe you got a missed call from somebody who was asleep at the time. If you woke up at 3:33 to any of those reasons, there might be a spirit in your house that wants you to know that they're there. Let's move on to sign number 6. Sign number 6, your electronics are acting up. Now, this one is huge. If your electronics are acting up, it's often overlooked. People will just be like, oh, it's just technical stuff, it's wiring, it's an old house, whatever. But dude, this one can get really, really weird. I'm gonna give you a bunch of examples of serious electronic malfunctions that could mean that there's a ghost messing with the electronics in your house. Number 1, your phone battery drains too quickly. Number 2, your TV randomly turns on or off. Number 3, a light randomly turns on or off. Number 4, your clock on your stove or microwave has been changed to 00:00. Number 5, your TV volume randomly goes really high without you touching the remote. Number 6, your TV remote does not work no matter how many times you change the batteries. Number 7, your power goes out randomly. And number 8, one of the sockets in your house randomly goes out. So the thing about ghosts is they're always sending subliminal messages. So if there's a socket that's not working in your house, ask yourself, is there a ghost attached to this specific side of the house? If the remote will not work when you're trying to change the channel, look at what's on the TV. What are they saying? What's happening in the movie or the show or the news channel? Like, look at what they're making you watch, because they'll always do it for a reason. Now, before you convince your whole family that you have to move out because there's a poltergeist in your house, you need to consider the fact that not only one of these things have to be true for you to be haunted, they all have to kind of work hand in hand. This is because you could actually just have an old house, or your remote could actually just be broken. But if you're experiencing a bunch of these things, there's something going on. Remember, you have to think of all the possible explanations, and if you're left with no explanations, you are one step closer to concluding that there's a ghost in your house. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7, weird noises in your home. Now, this is super weird. It's terrifying. Everybody hates it. And a lot of the times there is an explanation for it, but sometimes there is not. As you guys know, I just experienced a very weird noise in the closet in that room over there. Here's a clip. You guys better have heard that. Oh, no. Holy bro. What the bro?
Bro, I'm leaving.
But sometimes weird noises are often overlooked by people that are living in the house. That's kind of the brain's way of calming you down or making you think there's nothing wrong. It doesn't want to believe what's actually happening. When Brian and I did the Ouija board, that was the first time that I knew 100% for a fact that I was being followed by a very powerful spirit. Now, I know there's a lot of people who obviously won't believe that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's very hard to believe that when you've never went through it. I was 100% one of those people that would see ghost videos online. And even to this day, I'll see ghost videos online. I'll just be like, that's so fake, or, you know, that's a coincidence. But I actually went through something, and like, I'm literally you. I have met probably 1,000 supporters in my life. Every single one of them I could relate to. Like, we are literally the same freaking person. I'm not like somebody who does spells and looks up witchcraft. Like, I don't do, like, I play video games, eat, and go to sleep. Like, I have a very normal life. For those people who have been subscribed since the beginning, you've known me for 7 years. I'm not the type of guy to go out and try to make something up. It actually did happen to me. So I'm gonna tell you guys something that happened to me in that time when I was being haunted by that ghost that nobody knows. So it was about 12 o'clock at night. Me and my two sisters are in the garage. We had like a living room in the garage, and we were watching a movie. My parents were sound asleep. They had work the next day, probably like 4 or 5 days after we did the Ouija board. And out of nowhere, we hear like a giant thud, like something or somebody fell really hard and like hit the hallway. Like, it was loud. And you know, I was a little younger at the time, so all of us jumped up scared and said, oh my God, someone's in the house, or a ghost or whatever. And so obviously my parents woke up too because it was super loud. We all go, nothing in the hallway, no scratches, nothing. So everybody goes to sleep and everything's normal. Then I wake up to my sister screaming. She's shaking me, waking me up. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? She's like, look in the hallway. And I go in the hallway, and we had 3 photos of our family hung up on the wall in the hallway, like going upwards. And they were all on the floor, leaning against the wall, turned backwards. Right away, I call my dad, I call my mom, yo, did you guys put the family pictures on the floor? They're like, no, put them back up. Why would you guys do that? We're like, we didn't do that. We're asking you guys if you did that. So yeah, it all started with a noise is what I'm trying to say. It was freaking scary. And that was like one of the first things that happened to me after the Ouija board that made me think that there was something in the house. Let's move on to sign number 8. Sign number 8, your pets are acting strange. Now, I don't have too much experience with this, as the only pet I ever had was Cuervo, and he didn't do too much weird stuff. He didn't like bark randomly or whatever. But I do know other people that do have pets that have barked at the backyard door, like Brandon's dog, or pets that just stare into nothingness, or cats that are in the corner of a house just like staring somewhere. That's a big indicator that there's something in your house. Keep in mind that pets like dogs, cats, ferrets, whatever the hell you have, they don't have conspiracies about ghosts. They don't know what a ghost is. They don't think about it. They react only to what they see. So if you come out of your room and your dog is in the hallway, a dark long hallway, and he's staring down there or barking down there, something is there. There's either an intruder in your home or there's a ghost in your home. Regardless, grab the shotty, brother. Again, like I said, I don't have much experience with this, but if your pets are acting strange, that's a very big indicator. With that being said, let's move on to number 9. Sign number 9, missing objects in your house. So missing objects are often related to ghost activities. If you always put your phone on the desk right next to you when you sleep, and you wake up and your phone is across the room, either your girlfriend's snooping or there's a ghost. But understand that this sign is very peculiar because it makes no sense. For example, you have to rule out every possibility that it was misplaced by you. And what I mean is, obviously, if your phone has moved from this desk to the other desk in your sleep, that is not a serious indicator that there's a ghost, because anything could have happened. You could have woke up in the middle of the night and moved it to charge it or whatever, and you just didn't know. That's normal. If you think you put the remote on the right side and then you look and it's on the left, that could be your mistake. But if your laundry detergent that's in the cabinet right above the washer and dryer is in your pantry, that is a very, very weird thing, and it's a possibility. And when that happens, you should know there's something more serious going on and you should be looking into it. Now, like I said, ghosts are always trying to send subliminal messages. This ghost isn't trying to tell you to eat laundry detergent. This ghost is trying to lure you somewhere maybe you could be alone. Or if the shoes that you wear every single day are on top of a shelf that you cannot reach and no one else moved it, that's things that you should be looking out for. But like I said, ghosts send hidden messages. So when they move something, think about, what are they trying to make you do? Are they trying to make you go into a room by yourself? Are they trying to get you in a position where you're reaching and you're not focusing? Or maybe you're standing on something to reach and the ghost could do something to make you fall or hurt yourself or whatever. It just depends on what kind of spirit you have in your house. And this might sound crazy, but it's real. So be mindful of what's happening and what it can mean. Let's move on to the final sign, sign number 10. Sign number 10, the feeling of being watched. Now, there's a reason that I put this as the last sign. And that's because this is the only sign that you will never, ever have proof of. You have to use everything that you learn from watching any of my ghost videos to see if what you're experiencing is actually a ghost. If it's mental or physical. Physical being a ghost. If you just watched a scary movie and you're home alone, of course you're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, someone's behind me. If you're shampooing your hair in the shower and you feel like something's right in your face or whatever, that's just your mind playing tricks on you. So how do you know if what you're feeling is really a ghost or your mind playing tricks? Well, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're home alone and you're on FaceTime with a friend. You're talking about a shirt you want to buy, or you're telling them to hop on COD or something, and just in the snap of a finger, you felt a very weird feeling like, oh my God, like I thought that I just saw somebody behind me. Or is someone looking at me from my window? Or is there somebody in the dark closet over there? That's when it's real. When you weren't thinking about it prior. It has to happen quickly. You didn't pay any mind to it until you actually felt it. That's when it's real. That one's really tough and you shouldn't rely on that one, but if you've experienced any of the other 10 things alongside this one, you could have a ghost in your house. So everybody, if you have experienced one of these 10 things, chances are you are not haunted. But I would say if you have experienced at least 4 of these things consecutively, like in a month's time, then you might actually have a haunting on your hands. What you do next is completely up to you, but I strongly advise to never, ever, ever try to conversate, try to connect, try to interact with this at any cost whatsoever. If you do not want a spirit to appear in your home, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, bro. They don't want you if you've been watching my videos. They don't want you. It's been your boy Sherman, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.